Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Kristen, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be, an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show. What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. I'm your host, and I know it's been a while, but we are back. And I have some great guests that I am excited to introduce you guys to. And I want them to tell you a little bit about themselves before we get into the episode, okay? Um, so first off, it is Black History Month, and there is a quote that I have from Martin Luther King that I want to share really quickly. Let me see if I can find it because I went and found it earlier. It says, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." And so, no matter what it is that you want to do in life, always just take the first step. You don't have to know every step or how you're going to figure things out all the time. Just try taking one step, and normally we'll figure that next step out when we get to it. Okay, so let's get into the episode. I'm going to have Ms. Antoinette introduce herself and just tell you a little bit about her and their organization, which is called A Bold Story. And they are based here in Houston, Texas, where I am. And so they're going to be talking about that organization and the things that they have to offer. So
Hi, yes, thanks for having us.
you're welcome.
My name is Antoinette Weaver. I am a licensed professional counselor, supervisor. I just added the S, so I always up to forget to add that. And so I am the co-founder and the executive director of A Bold Story Never Ends. We started the organization November 16th, 2022, as a way to honor my son, Cameron. We lost him, unfortunately, to suicide in July of 2020. And so after that, I was just searching for a way to find meaning and purpose in all of this. And so friends of mine recommended that we start a nonprofit. I had no idea what that would look like, had no desire of doing anything of that nature, but it has definitely been a blessing. We have grown our team. It started out with myself, my sister, and my daughter. And now we have approximately 15 team members who are all volunteers. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So they volunteer their time and effort to. We're basically just supporting mental health causes. Of
Okay.
course, our niche is men's mental health, as because that is near and dear to my heart, of course, with losing Cameron to suicide. But we also provide resources and services for anyone. And so again, this is our second year, and we're just off and rolling, and we're excited about everything to come.
I love it. I love it. I was telling Latoya, which is I'm gonna have her introduce herself as well. Before you guys got here, we were just talking about the organization, and I was saying that is such a great thing to have in the area. So when I saw you, I was like, oh wow, this is so amazing. And so I love that you're comfortable enough to share that, and they were, on board with you to bring your what you didn't know at the time was your vision
Right,
to life.
right,
So I love that. So we have Miss Latoya here too. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself yourself and the role that you play in the organization?
Hello, yes. So my name is Latoya Christian, and I'm the executive manager at A Bold Story. And basically, I'm like internet's right arm person.
Love
Like,
it.
I'm there to help, like, with scheduling, there to assist with with the events that we have and everything. And that's my role. I also just volunteer in the different things that we do with the organization. And so I'm there. I really enjoy working with the organization. I really just watching it grow. It's just been amazing, and just working with everyone that's on the team. So
I love that. I
yes.
love that. I love that. And so we're going to get back to some of the events because we talked about that a little bit. We're going to get back to that because I'm going to have Mr. Jonathan introduce himself and let us know the role that he plays. He's over here bringing us germs off. We're just
Weather
joking.
has not been good for me. So I'm Jonathan Thomas. Um, uh, I serve as the men's liaison
Yes.
empowerment, right? And so I'm new to the team, but I'm grateful to be a part of the team.
Love
Uh,
it.
when I met Miss Antoinette, I knew that I wanted to be a part, and however she needs to use me, I want to be used, because as she said, in this space and this what we're dealing with in society as Black men, we definitely need outlets, and we need people to
Yeah.
lean on, and people to talk to, and so I'm just happy to be a part of the team, and continue to want to continue to do the work
Yeah.
in honor of Cameron.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about how you guys met. So was it like, did you guys know each other before? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, actually, Toya and I are what is going on 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we taught together actually. I was a first grade teacher in my former life, and
Right.
Toya joined our team. I was a team leader at the time, and so we taught together. And then we actually both went back to school to start working on our counseling degree. Toya ended up taking a different route, but I did that and became a school counselor. So that's how Toya and I met.
Okay.
JT was kind of just by chance. It was actually a good friend of my sister's, is a friend of JT, and we were doing a community mental health event. And so she shared the information with JT. And like you said, he was like, okay, I need to be a part of this. What can I
love
do?
it.
Yeah, he showed up for the event. And I was like, we were definitely like, come on in because
Yeah,
it's been
we
women.
definitely need more males.
It's
Yeah.
been women. And so when he expressed that interest, I was in heaven. I was like, come on, you have to come on board. And so we tasked him like within the first month of starting our first men's group. And so he took that ball and ran with it.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
So I did a little research. So I was on your page. So I did see a lot of like interaction with kids, I guess teenagers and stuff like that. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like when you're working with those groups, how do you, how does like someone get involved with the groups? How does that work?
Right. So with our men's group, when we decided to do this, we did it in the spring. We did a 12-week group with men. Just talked about fatherhood.
Okay.
We started in March. We ended in June. When we were coming to a close, the guys kept talking about, when are we going to do this again? Like, how can we get together? And so I needed a break to recharge. And kind of along the journey of the process, I was telling Miss Antoinette, I said, we can replicate this formula and do it again and keep doing it. And so that's what we did. We're in the process of doing that now. So in that time of us taking a break, like I said, I had a chance to recharge. Guys kept asking when we're going to do this again. So it's about November, December. The new year's about to start, and I'm like, we can start this again. And put a text out to the group of men, and they're like, yeah, we're coming back.
Oh, wow. I love it.
We have our talks at a barbershop. So can I shout out the barbershop?
Yes.
All right. Shout out to Chop House Barbershop in Rosharon. The owner, JP, has allowed us to come into that space, to make that space our own. So on Monday nights at 7 p.m., the barbershop closes. Guys come in. and we just talk about different topics.
I like that.
And so topics may range from healing and feeling. What does it mean to be a brother? Our most recent topic, reflection and growth, and just how to be overall better men.
I love it. I love it. And it's so funny how we don't realize that people need these spaces sometimes. And you're like thinking like, maybe I'm gonna have like one or two people, and then it supersedes your expectation to a point where you said, okay, hold on, I gotta recharge and kind of rethink this and kind of redo it. And it's just, I love how everything just kind of aligned. Like the barbershop, they got on board with what you were trying to do and kind of opened their doors. So I love that. I love that. And so I want to talk about the events because you mentioned you guys had a gala. I know everybody says a different gala, gala. I don't know. I say gala. But tell us a little bit about that and kind of what you guys do at the gala.
So this was our first. We just celebrated 2 years with the organization, and just there, we just just kind of got a chance to kind of relax. We put in so much hard work, of course, willingly, and we were there. We were able to mingle, with others. We were able to. Antoinette and her sister and daughter were able to give just awards and like just gifts to those that have really supported the organization. So it was really just a time to just enjoy the moment, just enjoy the fact that we've come together to do so much with the organization, and just we just kind of mingled during that time. And so so that's basically what that particular event was about.
Okay. Okay.
Like Toya said, our team, we're all volunteers, and so JT, as he mentioned, since with the men's group, he started the men's group, and he's also a counselor by trade. He's a middle school counselor, and so I wanted to find a way to celebrate the people that are pouring into us. We've had so many people that reached out, even the venue, Elevate Creative Studios, they donated the space to us, and so it was all about giving back to those who support us, with the donors, with the team. And so it was a masquerade theme, and it was called Unmasking Mental Health. And so we dressed up with our masks and, and our events. And like I said, just had a good time, was able to celebrate our hard work.
Okay. I love that. So throughout the year, you guys kind of come together and come up with different events that you're doing on top of what the men are doing.
Right.
Yeah, they have to kind of rein me in because I go rogue because I
yes,
like,
we have to. Okay,
this
wait a minute.
Like,
hold on.
Okay, I'm like, I hear a need. I'm like, okay, we can do this, and so. But I am realizing I can't be everywhere and do all things, so I'm trying to really rein myself back. Even though I have 3 events this week, but I'm reining back. And so, and like JT mentioned, we have that group that started in March, but we also have another group that's starting in the Missouri City area next week. And so we come together. We have our board, and then we have our team of advisors. And so we come together and look at what our needs are, and then we calendar out the events for the year.
I love it. And so all of the events are planned for this year. Like y'all do it a year in advance, or y'all do it along the way?
We do it quarterly. So we break the year up into quarters. And so from January to March, we have everything planned out. Like I said, on Saturday, we are actually JT and I are doing a relationship panel. We're on a discussion about love and relationships. It's with another organization. I don't want to Sassy Seasoned Sisters Network invited us to come out and participate on that panel. So we have that we're participating in. So this quarter we're doing more collaborations.
Okay.
And so we're doing that on Saturday, and then on Sunday we're participating in the Black History Market with the Golden Market. With the event place. And so they're doing a Black History Marketplace. And so we're going to come out and we're going to do like a podcast type
I love it.
presentation, and it's going to be on Black mental health. So it's going to be myself and two other ladies and two gentlemen, and we're going to talk about Black mental health, but also from the perspective of the genders. Because mental health and how I relate to it and identify is definitely different from how a male does. And so we're going to approach that. And then we're also going to have our vendor booth set up, and so it's open to the public. We are the featured nonprofit, and so there is a option to donate $5 for the event to come to the organization. But the event itself is free. They do have like vendor opportunities for Black owned and Black inspired businesses, and so we can definitely. I want to shout out Cat Moon for inviting us to be a part of that. So we're going to be doing that on Sunday, the 23rd. And then our first official event of the year is on March 8th. We're doing an event called She Is Me Empowerment Workshop. And so it's a women's empowerment series, and we have various presenters coming out speaking on topics from finances to nutrition and the impact on mental health, self-care, journaling. So it's going to be an awesome day, and hopefully, hopefully
Okay.
your viewers can come out.
My mind's going now. So you guys, I love it. You guys are like passionate about it. I saw that on your page. So that was coming up, but I love that. I love it. I love it. She gave us all the events, but you guys hear the passion in her voice. And so when she talks about it, it's something that's near and dear to her heart. You can tell because again, like they said, she's trying to be everywhere. And they're like, no, stay over there. We got this over here. And so just tell us a little bit about that. Like, I know, what I want to ask is, before your son, what happened with your son, were you already in the mental health field or okay?
Yes,
Okay.
I was. I was a school counselor from 2010 to 2019. And so then I transitioned in my school district as a mental health therapist for the district. And so, of course, during that time, while I was working, transitioning into LPC, because you have to have 3,000 hours in order to get that designation, I worked in various entities. Like I provided services for CPS and things of that nature. And so I was in mental health. I became a therapist actually for the school district in 2019. And then of course I lost Cameron in 2020. And so I think the thing that has changed since losing Cameron is really solidifying my vision. And like you said, I had that passion, but I didn't know. I think actually I was fearful to take that first step. The school district, I was a teacher. So this is actually my 28th year in my school district. And so that was safe. That was comfortable.
Yeah.
That's what I knew.
Yeah.
And so, there were things that I wanted to do, but I'm like, I'll just get through retirement and then I'll do it. So I think losing Cameron has definitely propelled me into my purpose and my vision of getting out there and assessing what the needs are and trying to figure out how we can help.
Yeah. So fun fact, I was telling Latoya that I was in education. So I was a teacher and then I transitioned to being a school counselor and now entrepreneur. But it's just crazy how things always align because all of you guys have a background in education. So you can relate on that level. And I was just thinking like about when you're working with children and you think about, some of the things that you deal with in the classroom as a teacher and you get on the other side of it and you're kind of like in the middle as a school counselor or, a therapist for that matter. And you kind of see things from both ends and both perspectives. So I want to talk a little bit about, some of the things you saw as a teacher and how you deal with it differently on this other end of now I'm on the other side of it and I can focus just on some of the needs that I saw as a teacher. But again, when I'm in the classroom, I had to focus on academics. I couldn't really focus a lot on social and emotional. And now we're trying to teach teachers how to intertwine the two. So I just want to talk about a little bit about what you guys' experience is like, especially you and Jonathan, kind of what you see.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are like in the middle, that middle phase for kids, especially in junior high. They're trying to find themselves. Friendships are really important. Not disappointing parents are really important. And just trying to figure out who they are, is really important. So I like to try to just make sure that, I'm approachable, because sometimes, students don't feel as if they can, you know, trust people, especially,
Yeah.
that's really big for them, is trust, who they can trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have a good rapport with, all the kids in my school, because I, used to coach in the community. A lot of kids know me, that so
Mm-hmm.
they call me Coach JT, instead
Mm-hmm.
of calling me Mr. Thomas, right? So it's more, and I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And it's more, they feel more approachable that way. And I think the hardest thing is, it's, when you have kids and you know what they have to go home to,
Yeah.
right? Because you'll want to try to, save them from that, and we can't, right? We can just really just encourage them and let them know that, we can try to, bridge that gap between them and their parents. A lot of things that I like to do is, go into the community. So I may have a community night where parents can come in
Mm-hmm.
and they can kind of get some resources and tools on how to deal with different things. And so, yeah, so I just try to really just be approachable and make sure that it's a safe space and safe environment
Yeah.
for all the students
Okay. I love it. I love it. Do you have teachers that come in to see you?
all the time,
Yeah.
especially men,
Okay.
and no, so that's a running joke, right?
It is. Yeah.
It's a running joke at the school. Just today, I'm in my office talking to a kid. Guy comes, knocks on the door. He's like, "You with a student?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm next." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, all the
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good for them to have that space too. And, there were days that I saw more teachers than I did students, and that was okay because I'm like, hey, I got a beanbag in here. You come lay down,
There you go.
just
Right.
take a break. Like on your off period, just come lay down because I feel like people need that sometimes. And I actually had one of the teachers text me a couple weeks ago. She was like, "You remember you used to tell me this? Thank you so much." And I was like, "Dang, that really like whatever I was doing, giving you that safe space worked because you remembered it like 2 years later. You're texting me about it." So I love that you provide that, and you've kind of been on both ends, so you can relate. And so I think that's the good part about being in the schools. You kind of get to see both sides because I've been in the classroom because you have to teach before you can be a school counselor. So I love having people that are excited about it, so excited about it that you're willing to do it outside of your work hours. So, it's you're passionate about it.
And to add too about, seeing teachers, right? We
Mhm.
created a Zen room for our teachers to kind of go in and just
Nice.
find some relaxing time,
Yeah.
whether it's their conference period or, they lunch break. They can kind of go in there and kind of just relax for about 10 to 15 minutes before they jump back in the mix.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you said something key. You said relatable. And, sometimes, it can be even like the homeless person on the street. Like they may feel like, well, you driving this car, or you driving this, like you can't, or I can't relate to you, or you're not approachable. And so that was so good. That resonated so well. Just being approachable so that people feel comfortable enough to come to you, especially children. I want to ask you too, what are some signs that people should look for when someone may be struggling with mental health? Like, what are some things that you can look for? It can be in the classroom, it can be at home. Like, what are some things that people could pay attention to a little bit more to really see, okay, maybe something's not right?
Yeah, I think one behavior is communication. When we see kids misbehaving, they're trying to communicate something, and they probably lack the verbal ability to communicate that.
Yeah.
And this is actually something we're going to speak on Sunday. Is it also looks very different in different communities. Like mental health in the Black community looks very different from other communities. So, that enraged driver that you see, or that, that man that's yelling at his wife, or the wife that's, has shut down and not being able to connect with their family,
Yeah.
can all be experiencing that mental health. And a lot of times, especially with men who are suffering from depression, it's not the classic symptoms of feeling sad. It's usually anger or aggression. And a lot of them have somatic symptoms where it's headaches or, muscle pains and things of that nature. So the thing is, it's so widespread. Sometimes it's very difficult to identify.
Yeah.
So I think the key is kind of observing the behavior and seeing when those changes in behavior happen. If you have someone that's outgoing and all of a sudden they shut down, and then sometimes it's the opposite. It's people that are usually more introverted. They may become more where they're out there and they're partying and they're, so their behavior has become extreme in that opposite direction. So I would say just any significant changes in behavior. I think also with, you know, shutting down is key, also, or if you see them having conversations, because I know something I was just talking to my dad about with Cameron, because Cameron was very bold. He was always engaged in different things, but we realize now that Cameron was communicating with us years prior to his decision. And my dad was saying that he had a conversation with him, and and he was like, he called him Papa, and he was like, Papa, what do you do when you just can't stop the noise? When you can't, when it's things are telling you that you're not good enough, you're not, but it was the way that he presented it to him. It was as though it was something someone else was experiencing. So putting those pieces together when they're having those conversations about not feeling like they belong, or not feeling in place, or that they can't seem to control their mood, things like that.
And normally they're concerned about everyone else, but really there's something going on inside. And I used to sit students down and I'm like, no, what's going on with you? Because we're talking about my mom, my dad. Okay, but how do you feel about it? And so just making sure that you're providing that space and giving people those tips, because sometimes we think because someone is functioning and they have all these things doing a lot of stuff doesn't really mean that you're okay.
Right.
Sometimes you're trying to deflect from what's really going on. And so that I love that you shared that. Now, Miss Antoinette is not Miss Antoinette. Miss Latoya is in education right now. She's in the classroom still, and you're learning things from them as well because you're connected with them in this organization. And so, how are you taking some of the social and emotional things that you're learning? Because I know they're incorporating that now into the classroom with your baby. I call them babies because they're pre-K. The pre-K
just
kids.
kind of going back to what you all were saying, just being relatable. I think it's very important to build relationships with your students. That's just top notch for me. Like just building the relationships. As Antoinette said, when you kind of know when a child is going through something. They may start off being quiet. They start just they want attention, so they start doing things to get attention. So just making sure you build those relationships, and so you can kind of see, okay, what's going on. They're relatable. You're being relatable. They can come to you and just open up and talk to you about, maybe something that's going on, and then just trying to figure out what you can do so they can feel safe. They can know that they're in a safe space, and that's really big for me. Like in my classroom. I do teach the babies pre-K, but it's amazing just what I hear, like what I know that they're going through.
Yeah, because they'll tell you at that age.
They will let you know.
They're telling everything.
And it's just, it's amazing, but just making sure I have that relationship with them.
I love that. And you're giving all the hugs, right?
All the hugs.
All day.
All of it. I'm a hugger.
Day.
I'm definitely a hugger.
All day.
And they want to hug all day long.
Yeah, so. They do. They do. I taught junior high forever. So when they were like, you want to go to elementary? I was like, no, I would never go there. No, why would I do that? But when I got there, I was like, oh, so this is what we're doing. So then you have to adjust because they are like hug every day, all day. So yeah, okay. I love it. So, I mean, putting all this together, and you guys have how many other people on the team, on the organization? How many other people are there?
There's about 15 who are on the team functioning in different capacities. We do have, in addition to that, we have like consistent volunteers. Um, we have like our mental health event where I met JT. I want to say we had 25 volunteers just from an area, Mason and Eastern Star Group. And so two of their members actually have joined our team. One is now our volunteer coordinator, and her husband has joined on to JT's team. So that's kind of been our newest addition. We've created a men's empowerment team. And so right now we have 4 gentlemen that are working alongside JT. And then we have someone that does marketing for us, as well as we have my sister and my daughter who are on the team. They are both board members. And we have several social workers on the team as well. And so our director of development is Rashawn Carter. She's a social worker by trade, but she has a nonprofit background, and so she's helping me because, like I said, we just kind of did this. Like we got someone who volunteered to help us incorporate. So now I'm like, okay, what now? Am I supposed? I didn't know. Oh, I was supposed to have a business plan. Well, I'm supposed to have this, and so she's kind of helping me back up and put all of those business things in line. So that's her responsibility. We have someone that that works on our programs and events. Her name is Lasagna. She's also a social worker by trade. And then y'all help me out
because we have the media that helps promote the business.
Yeah. Brenda is marketing. We have
our treasurer.
She's amazing. How can I forget her?
You cannot forget.
That's the money lady.
She is amazing.
Exactly. And she will call me, Antoinette, we're doing a little extra spending this month. What's going on? So
yeah, you got to have somebody to keep that that budget in order. And so if someone wanted to volunteer or donate to you guys, how do they do that?
For volunteer, we do have, you can sign up on our website. We're at www.aboldstoryneverends.org. And so we have volunteer opportunities there. And then you can also donate on the website. We have a square where you can donate by credit card. We also do have also Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and Zelle, and it's all A Bold Story Never Ends.
I'll have it up on the screen for you guys.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we're always looking for volunteers. The way that we communicate with our volunteers is once you sign up with us, we send out like communications. We use GroupMe right now. And we let them know what events are happening. Just like I said, we have this event coming up in March. So even if it's just, I want to help you get the good, the swag bags ready for the event, or if, with content, because that's huge. I'm sure. trying to build that social media following. So we do actually have someone that's just come in aboard. She's just volunteering. She actually lives near the border area, and she's a mom raising 3 kids with autism. And so she's volunteering by providing content from the perspective of a mom dealing with her own mental health, because she suffered from what she thought was anxiety and depression all her life, but now she's just realizing that she's also on the spectrum. And so she's going to be able to provide that spectrum. So I mean, we accept volunteers in so many different ways. Like I said, unfortunately, we are not at the position yet where we can pay employees. And so any time element, I always have people that are kind of apprehensive to join, because I think I do kind of intimidate people with my passion, because they're like, I'm not going to be able to measure up. And I'm like, I don't expect you to be me. This is my baby. So of course I'm working overtime. But if you just tell me I have one day a month or one day a year, I'm like, come aboard, because we have something that you can do for me.
And there's a space for everybody, guys. So don't feel intimidated. I always say, get in your lane and stay in your lane. I tell my husband that all the time, because we work together, and I'm like, "Are you in my lane today? No, get over here in your lane."
See,
So
they have
that's
to
all it
remind
is.
me of.
Yeah,
Like, stay in your lane, Antoinette.
yeah, yeah.
But it also, I just have to shout out my team because they
Mhm.
are so amazing. Because, like I said, JT, he's also known as the counseling coach. So he has his own things that are going on.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. People are like, well, I don't have time. I'm trying to build my brand. But if your brand is related to mental health, why can't our brands work together and make it happen?
Yeah.
Because I can't be everywhere. But if you
Mhm.
are someone who wants to do trainings or presentations,
This is a good way to practice.
let's work together because I want you to grow your brand.
Yeah.
It's not about a bold story never ends. It's about reaching people and helping people reach their potential. And so if I can promote the counseling coach, I'm doing that all day, on my page, because that's not going to take away from what I'm doing.
Yeah, because there's a common goal there. And that's just to have the resources, the space, the events, anything that the community needs as far as mental health goes. You guys are there to work together as a team. And of course, they're going to know about your brand because you're there and you're presenting the information. So it's so amazing how even though you guys are all leaders in your own right, you can come together and still work together to make this happen. Right. And they saw the need and they said, where can I help? Yes. Where can I help? Yeah. And sometimes we have to learn how to be servants before we can be leaders. Mm-hmm. And I think when people grasp that mindset, then they grow faster. Mm-hmm. But when you're out here and you're just like, by myself, I got this. Yeah. No, we're stronger together. Because you really don't know who knows who or who's going to be in that room that can connect you to maybe the person you've been looking for. And so, and I love that you guys are all people of color coming together, because sometimes that's a struggle for our community, because we have a lot of people who are like, I want to be in charge. Mm-hmm. And you're like, the leader. Hold on. Like, for real, because you can only let people go so far.
Right.
So,
we can't have too many chiefs.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can be the expert in your lane, but, we all have to be on the same road to get to where we need to be. Yeah. And, I have to take a moment to shout out Toya with that, because, like I said, we were friends first, but she was just like, she was always like, what can I do to help?
I love it.
And it started out with, okay, I'm going to give you a monthly donation to help you with your cause. And then, I was telling her, I was like, come on board. She's like, I don't know, what am I going to do with the mental health? And I was like, you're going to support me. Mm-hmm. And, she's stepping newly into this role as executive manager, because she was like, Antoinette, you're doing too much. You're going to break. So what can I do to take that load off?
And you seem like a planner, like strategic, keeping her on track. Yeah. Because we're other people, we're like, ooh, all over the place. And you're like, hold on, wait, we have this
going on. Yeah. Like she said, I just don't want to see her break. But, we all have a way that we can help her and just each other.
Yeah.
So,
because you're all good at something in your own way, And so when do you guys meet? So you said you meet quarterly. Do you guys have where you talk and kind of check in when you guys are doing things? How does that work?
Yeah, within, like I said, we have the board, which meets quarterly. We used to meet together because we started out as a team of 7. So we used to meet once a month and plan. But now sometimes we meet more so in silos. Like JT and I are planning with our mental health, our men's thing. So we're meeting, separately, and then we're bringing that information to the group.
Okay.
We're trying to actually find our rhythm, because we do have so many people with so many different responsibilities. Sometimes it's hard for everyone to jump on, because we originally agreed on second Sundays. And so then, of course, people are, have a church event or they have other things. So we've been trying various methods. We communicate through like a lot through GroupMe and through email. But like Toya and I meet pretty much, on the phone once a week, and then we also get together. That's our way too of okay, let's put it in some self-care. Let's have a spa day, but we're talking bold story, or let's go to dinner or happy hour, and we're talking bold story.
I love it because you're building that relationship, and that's key. Like the relationships are first, and then everything else will grow. So where do you guys see the organization in the next 5 years?
I'm gonna let one of you take that first.
Well, I know I told Antoinette before, like, I told you before, they came. It's just amazing to see how it has already grown.
Yeah.
Over the 2 years. Even right before then, they were already doing some things before it was officially a bold story. But it has grown so much, and I just see it continuing to grow. Like even this year, we have the She Is Me, the empowerment that she spoke of, and that's just going to be a huge event. This week, as she said, just the events that's coming up. So I just see it growing, getting the word out there, talking more about mental health and just wellness, self-care. And I told her, like, I see like a big just like a major event, like like a conference or something.
Yeah.
That's in the works.
The next step.
But I definitely see it working, and I just really love the fact also that JT has come in and the other men have come in, and we're and talking to the men about it's okay. You have someone you can speak with or whatever. So just seeing it grow in that area as well.
Okay.
So
Okay. JT.
it's my vision.
So, like what Toya said, like probably, a conference, but, looking at how these barbershop talks are going, maybe we'll be in barbershops all over the city, So, we're already on our second location, starting next week. And what we've been able to cultivate, in this first group of, barbershop talks is other men have risen up to become leaders, right? So the other men who've joined the team are guys who really just came to this second version of the barbershop talks, right? One of those guys lives, in Missouri City, where the next barbershop talk is going to be at, and so he's somebody who's committed to being there every week because he lives right there, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing is that we've grown organically with these barbershop talks, and other men are rising up, finding their voice and being leaders. So it just doesn't have to be me at everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's been amazing to see. So yeah, right? I mean, we are now a colony, about to start in Missouri City. We gradually coming north, right?
Yeah.
We'll be in Houston next, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where you guys are going. I have some people in mind that I'm like, oh, they might want to volunteer. So I just love it. Like I said, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And, you guys have your mission statement. Is that your mission statement on your Instagram? Tell us a little bit about the mission statement. I want to tell it, but tell it.
Yeah. So again, like when we establish, we're like, okay, what are we doing here? And so what I've gotten a lot of is mental health is so broad. Like, what's going to be your niche? And I'm like, my niche is mental health. And so my mission is to bring education awareness because I want to help to restore lives and save lives.
Yeah.
Through just conversations about mental health. So that's kind of where our mission statement is. It's just like bringing awareness and working to save lives and to restore lives that have been impacted by mental health.
Okay. I just wanted her to explain it because I got my own interpretation of it, but that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, but I was like, let me see what she says. But guys, when you go to their page, because they do have an Instagram, go follow it. I'll have it in the description and up on the screen. Go follow their page. Leave a donation if you can. I'll have the website up as well. But this is so amazing. They're not getting paid for what they're doing for the community. So the donations are kind of how the organization functions. And so if you know anything about nonprofit organizations, they're still a business. So they still have to function. They still have to have money to have these events. And so by you donating to the organization is how they're able to do these things for the community. So if you feel like you're led to do it, go ahead and do it.
She said they take Cash App, Zelle, all the above. They have it because hey, they'll take it. Whatever you got.
You and get a cash.
Right. If you got cash,
they'll take that too.
they'll meet you and get a check. And if you have a business, and I'm speaking from a business owner's perspective, we hate paying taxes, right? This is a good way to get a write-off. So if you're making too much money, you might as well give it to a good cause. That way you can write it off if you need
and
to.
actually, thank you for saying that, because we are actually starting sponsorship packages. So we're working with businesses, and so if you we have different levels of sponsorship, and we're going to be rolling that out next month. And so let's say we're starting at $150 for small businesses, and so if you donate that $150 for the year, that's an automatic tax write-off, like you said. But we're also going to promote your business. Like if you go to the website, we have an affiliates section, and so there's a direct link to those who are sewing into us, where you go onto their website. And like I said, Elevate Creative Studio is one that has constantly given into us, and so there's a link so that we can get people to use her space, to rent out her space for events. And also Kenya at Holiday Hills Events. She's also, I went to high school with her, and we had our babies. Her Cameron and her daughter Brittany were a couple months apart, and so she's an event designer, and so we have her there. So she's donating, a few $1,000s a year in her time and services, and so we're shouting her out, and and every time that we have someone, do you know an event designer, or do you know someone who does this, then we're working to connect individuals with those.
Yeah, and it's just marketing. You're going to spend money on marketing anyway, too. Right. So that's a good way to get your business out there. And, this is a great organization. Like I said, I saw them on Threads. If you're not on Threads, guys, get on Threads. Because I feel like Threads is more, you can tell me.
It's like the Twitter. And I can't even take credit for that. Yeah. Brenda, our marketing, she's like, Antoinette, I'm getting on Threads. And I was like, I cannot maintain another social media account.
She's like, I'm at capacity.
So I am thankful, Brenda. Thank you for getting
because I feel like it's people having real conversations on there instead of like all the nonsense that we see everywhere. So I do like it a little better. I was telling my husband about it. He's like you, like not another one. I can't take it. So before we close, 3 things I'm gonna do, because there's 3 of y'all. So 2 things that someone should or could do for self-care. Because we like to talk about self-care and how to stay sane in this crazy world on this podcast a lot. So coming from our professionals.
Well, I'm going to give a shameless plug and say register for the She Is Me Women's Workshop.
Yes.
That's self-care, because I think we have to learn how to pour in ourselves, because we think self-care has to be, take an hour or half a day, and it doesn't. Something as simple as I always tell people, like I'm huge on mindfulness. My mind is always rushing, so it's hard for me to be in the here and the now. And so something as simple as just walking through a space and observing, like, what are 5 things that you can see? Yeah. What are 4 things that you can smell? What can you hear? What do what can you touch? What can you feel? And so that literally takes, 30 seconds, but it's a way to ground yourself and bring yourself back into that moment.
Yeah.
And then I think the second thing would be, for me, is massages. Like, that's my go-to. Yep. That's my stable.
I love it.
Once a month, I have my 90-minute massage. Don't call me. Don't text me for those 90 minutes.
Yeah. She's on D&D, guys. Don't call her.
Yes.
That's what I did for my wife yesterday for anniversary. She had a massage.
Oh, how long have you been married?
Yesterday made 18 years.
Oof, look at God. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. So that was yesterday morning, and masseuse came to the house. So
see, that's what I'm talking about. You don't have to get dressed to go.
Right, there you go.
So it's on me.
Yeah.
Wow, this is hard.
Self-care. It's hard. Yeah. We want to hear from guys, because we don't know what you guys do.
In our barbershop talks, 2 of the things that were very hard for us to answer were how to set boundaries and what is self-care for men. Like, what does that look like? Like, how do we set boundaries as men? And then what is self-care? Like, we left those 2 things, like, to come back to in a few weeks.
Yes.
That's our homework over the next 3 weeks, to see who did self-care, right? So last night, a group of us, we did yoga and stretching. since we took we on a 3-week break. So last night, since we didn't meet, we did yoga and stretching. Um, I think that was self care. You know, I know we left feeling a little bit more achy than when we walked in, but coming from the yoga instructor, that's what we needed.
Yeah.
So I think two things that men can do is just find some quiet time, right? Kind of like you said about mindfulness, shut your mind down a little bit. Because I know for me personally, in this season, I was just thinking on our drive here, right? I gotta put some things, take some things off my
That's
plate.
what I was about to say. This man he said, he got in the car and he said, "Can I take one call?" He had 5 calls
Oh my
before
God.
we pulled into I was like, I thought I was bad. He was just,
I have to take some.
yeah, you
On that ride here,
that.
I was thinking, I'm like, I gotta
Yeah.
take some things.
Yeah. So Antoinette
Yeah.
is going to crash the next men's.
Right.
We're going to talk about self.
Yeah. See, now you know what's going on over there. He said we tabled it.
Right. Yeah, we're
Come
not
back to
tabling
it.
that. That's number one. That's night one.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I do personally, like I got into this hobby of flying drones. I have a few drones, and so I'll drive up to the city and just put it up for about 15, 20 minutes, and so I like doing that, right? But for a lot of guys, that was a hard question.
Yeah.
What do we do for self-care?
Because y'all are like caretakers and they're all providers and you're just taking care of everybody. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Two things for self-care. I know you need it. I know you need it.
And she's great at it. So
She is.
she is.
I try to take time. Well, for me, number one, I like to journal. I think it's important, kind of going back to what they were saying, like you're always on the go, you're always thinking. I am always thinking about something. So it's important for me to just take time and just journal. Sometimes it's daily, sometimes I might slack a little bit,
Yeah.
it might be weekly, but that really helps me. That's one way that I, just take care of myself. And I think, of course I like massages or whatever, but I think also for me, I also enjoy nature. I guess going back to like just mindfulness, I love going in nature. Internet knows, like I'll go, walk by the lake. I love to go walk, and I love going. It's like a particular lake that I like to go and walk by and just, being by the water and just being in nature. That really helps me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that y'all all said something other than the massage that sometimes doesn't cost money. Because I think people equate self-care to like, oh, I got to go get my hair done. I got to go get my nails done. And that's not necessarily. You could just go for a walk or, like you said, take your drone out and fly it or whatever, read a book. Like those things are free that you can do just to relax your mind and kind of quiet your mind. So thank you guys for sharing. I always share mine. I love, like she said, I love getting outside. We go walking in the mornings. We try to go every other morning, like 5 miles around our neighborhood and back just to get early in the morning. So now, like, the kids are going to school. The people that are out there, they're kind of like, oh, we didn't see you guys yesterday because we're in a routine now. But that's just something I like to do just to quiet my mind. And then reading, I'm trying to read more, just to expand your vocabulary. I feel like when you don't read a lot, sometimes you forget stuff and your imagination. I'm like, I'm not even creative anymore. I need to be reading. Right. So I'm just trying to read more and stuff like that. So I love, those are all great things. And thank you guys so much for coming, taking time out of your day. We didn't know it was going to rain like this, guys. It is pouring outside right now. So I want them to get home safe. But I thank you guys for coming and go register for the event. Again, the website, everything will be up here on the screen and in the description. And if you can, go ahead and donate. Did anybody have anything they wanted to say?
I will feel remiss if I don't shout out our other barbershop location. It's Next Level Cuts in Tennessee is the owner. And so again, if you're a man in the Missouri City area, we're going to be meeting on Tuesday nights at 6:30. Everything is free. We partnered with the Pelchin Children's Center to actually come out and do this round because of course JT can't do it all. So they're going to be, it's a 12-week fatherhood program and it touches on things like co-parenting, the men's health component. And so, so I had to shout them out.
No,
for
thank
opening
you.
their
And that
doors
was a
to
really
us.
that co-parenting is going to be one of the topics out of the 12 weeks. But when we did that, back last spring, that was one of the major topics that guys really wanted, some help with, like with, how do we co-parent? And there were guys in the house married to their child's mother, even like, I was raised this way, she was raised this way.
Yeah.
How do we, excuse me, how do we see common ground with discipline? Pardon me. So that co-parent, when you said that, made me think that was like one of the major
Yeah.
topics because, a lot of times we just think of co-parenting being out two people have a child, they both outside the home, only one parent outside the home, but nah, it could be two parents in the home as well.
Yeah,
So
because we all grow up different.
we all grow up
And
different.
somebody might not believe in spankings and somebody might believe in but and then certain things don't work for every child. So you just
Bingo.
kind of got to learn the kid. But the communication is key. So I love all those topics. Those are all good topics because we see it all over social media, all the drama, all that. So that's amazing.
a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Men and women going at each other. I was like, can we just work
work
together?
together.
And find a common ground.
Yeah, or the
Especially
dad.
in this time we're in right now, community, we need everybody to be pulling together
Right.
with the times we're in right now.
I know. I just told my husband, I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, we got to figure it out because community is, you need it. And the problem is sometimes you become just the source for everybody.
Yeah.
And then you start backing up.
Yeah.
And so we got to figure out how to balance it because it can be draining.
Yeah.
If somebody always needs something from you. And you're like, hey, can somebody do something for me?
Yeah.
So it's
Love
like,
to.
yeah. So it's just finding that balance. But yeah, we definitely need community and figuring out how to work together. But again, thank you guys so much. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we drop an episode every Wednesday at 12. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all, be blessed, and continue to strive for success.